I'm constantly worrying that we're spending time writing code that could be fixed with a prompt change.
As you work with LLMs, they don't work directly out of the box. You have to ask them the right questions. You have to, in some sense, instruct them in the right way so that they help you in the situation that you encounter. Prompt engineering, of course, is the buzzword here. What's your experience? How easy is that, and how important is it? And especially as you go into the really capable models, such with GPT-4. I mean, I was one of the people who had luckily had the privilege of early access to GPT-4. And I was just really blown away by the reasoning capabilities, the understanding of reasoning about the real life, right? Which in an application like yours, Minion.ai, seemed to be really crucial to understand what does it mean to take a trip to Hawaii. And, I cannot drive to Hawaii, but I actually have to fly to Hawaii and things like that. What's your experience and how important the prompt is? And how do, we as founders, how would we actually go ahead and, work with LLMs in that aspect?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm constantly worrying that we're spending time writing code that could be fixed with a prompt change. If only maybe we can we've got this issue where it's taking the first, it's doing a search on Craigslist and taking the first result and suggesting that is the answer. We can go spend a lot of time to try to get it to explore more. But maybe there's some magic prompt there that will say, hey, be more exploratory. And that's really what it comes down to, is a few magic words, to sort of hint in the right direction, in the right context. And I think the biggest flaw I see in most people's approaches are thinking of these things, thinking of prompts as systematic. So it's like I ask it to do something, it fails, and then now I assume that it can't do that thing. But the real answer is, okay, try 10 different things and see what happens. And in fact, there's I can't tell you how many things have come up where you're trying something and the model will give you a hint in a way. Like it'll generate some, this happened in Copilot quite a bit where, we'd be trying to optimize the prompt or what to include in the prompt, and occasionally it would generate a file name in a comment, because that's what it's used to, that's a common part of code. And so it turns out if you include the file name in the prompt, it actually contains a whole lot of information about what that file is. And so that's like a hint that the model has shown us, and willingness to listen to that, I think, is also really valuable.
Yeah. No, I mean, as we're sort of all discovering, are on this journey together, right? The crafting of prompts and even giving the models examples of what it should do and sometimes what it should not do, right, can be super instructive. The whole notion of prompt engineering, of course, is becoming much more of a science these days than an art as well.